I really just want somebody who's going to aggressively fight for me in court. Is that too much to ask?
Filing an eviction should not be complicated. There's got to be an easier way.
Nothing frustrates me more than having to wait for my attorney to call me back. I need them now.
What I really need from my law firm is someone who can provide my staff training so we actually can stay out of trouble.
When you have property management problems, we have your solutions. This is the Zona Law Group podcast with the experienced attorneys from Zona Law.
Well, welcome today. We're at the Zona Law Group podcast. It's May 5, 2020, Cinco de Mayo, and I'm honored to have with me today as our guest, Debra Hill Fox. And Debra, welcome.
Thanks, Matt. Glad to be here.
You know, we've known each other a long time. I understand there's going to be some changes in your life, and we want to kind of reminisce about some of the past and what's going to happen in the future. So tell us, what's new in your life? What's happening?
Well, after 34 years of being in Arizona, I'm reverting back to Texas. Gonna head for retirement and live on the lake.
I thought I heard a little bit of a Texas accent there. So you're heading back to Texas?
Heading back to Texas.
All right. Well, You've been in Arizona how long?
34 years.
And you've been in the multi-housing industry for how long?
Since 1980.
Wow. All right. Well, give us a little bit of a thumbnail sketch about your background, your history in the multi-housing industry, so we can have a little bit of an idea of the history that you bring to this podcast.
All right. Well, I started in Texas. A friend of mine asked me to come to work for him as a leasing consultant. So I started there. Within 6 months, I was a property manager. Oh, scary thing. And then in 1986, I moved out here. And I think got involved with the Arizona Multi-Housing Association and made a lot of friends, and you're one of them.
Oh, thank you. I feel honored.
Yeah, me too. We've been through a few years and a few battles together. You became my attorney for my communities and my properties for many years, and then I was lucky enough in 2002 to come to work with you, Matt.
And you did, and we appreciate that. And, you know, we're excited to have you today. I mean, you're an icon in the industry. Well, we're sorry to see you moving to Texas, but you know, I'm sure it's another chapter in your life that you're looking forward to and should enjoy. Mm-hmm. And you know, you've come to know a lot of people in this industry. I think as you've seen it grow and develop through the years, I'm not sure there's anyone you don't know or anyone that you haven't served on committees with in the AMA and things of that nature. Give us a little bit of background of what you've done with the AMA.
Oh my goodness. I've been on every committee that they have, except for executive committee. And I have chaired the Big Hearts, Little Hands committee for a few years. I've been on government affairs when I was working for you and Denny Dobbins. Denny was you and Denny were on the government affairs, and I started to become very passionate about it, and that's when I wanted to be involved. So been on government affairs since probably 2004 or so.
Yeah, very active in that industry. And so, you know, we're looking at the wealth of experience and knowledge that you have. And let me ask you a question. If someone was trying to get into this industry, knowing what you know now, and I assume you've enjoyed your years in this type of work and obviously a people person, what would be your advice to someone who wanted to now get into this business?
This is one of the best businesses in the world, I think. Can be very rewarding. It's not for everyone, but if you're a people person and you're warm and friendly and you're a hard worker, I started as a leasing consultant and was a regional manager before I came to work for you and Denny. So, you know, working hard, becoming more educated. But I would say that, you know, it can be a lifelong career. There's no cutoff date. You can be 80 years old and still leasing apartments or leasing and still have a job. So it's been very rewarding. I always like that steady paycheck.
Are you referencing my age by any chance?
No, not yours, just mine. Getting there.
You know, you say there's really no age limits. There's no ceilings. I assume you can do what you want to do.
Pretty much, yeah.
Whatever you set your goals to do.
If you're diligent and you meet your goals and you know, you're a hard worker and you're a good worker, and you have those people skills and you gain knowledge as you go along, it can just be a very, very rewarding career.
In your looking back through the past, okay, if you had it all to do over again, would you do it the same way?
I think I would. I would. I love the multifamily industry. Love it. I've loved every minute of it. I'm happy I don't have to do it anymore. Decrease my, my stress level quite a bit over the last several years. But I love to teach it, and I love to hear all my friends and their issues and their, if you like problem solving, this is a great career path.
It's kind of like where the rubber meets the road.
It is. It is.
And that's where the action takes place.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Now, you've also been on the vendor side.
I have, yeah.
And if someone was going into the vendor side, what type of advice would you give to them?
I would say you get what you put into it. So just because you join an association or you start up a company and you go out there and you try to meet people, that's not going to get you very far. You got to put in some hard work. You got to be involved. You got to be community oriented. So give back. But it's about knowing people and showing them that you're trustworthy, you're honest, you're integrity. You have great integrity, and this. A lot of vendors get into, let's just say, the Arizona Multi-Housing Association, and then they come back within a year and they say, "Oh my gosh, I'm not getting any business." Well, it's how much work are you putting into it? Are you actually trying to be involved and get to know people and show them that you're worth the effort to be successful with them? It's actually about becoming a partner.
Sounds to me like it has to be a passion.
It has to be a passion. It does.
Right.
It doesn't just come to you. It's not a given just because you belong to an organization. I'm on the membership committee with the AMA, and for years I've said to new vendors who have come on board, don't expect to just get immediate business. It doesn't come like that. You have to put into it. You have to develop relationships, because our industry, the multifamily industry, is very much a relationship-driven business.
It seems like what you're saying also, if you agree or disagree, is basically it needs to be a win-win.
It does.
We're all helping each other succeed.
We're helping each other succeed.
Pulling each other up.
Yeah. And I always say, if you're a new vendor coming in, meet other vendors. Vendors can give you business. Vendors can refer you business. Other vendors are not your competitors. They can be your true friends. I have a lot of competitors over the years who have been my friends.
Excellent point. You know, we've said for years in this type of business, in the multi-housing business, is you can't make this stuff up.
No, you cannot.
And through your career, through these many years, have there been any funny stories, instances, things you'd like to share that you remember that are kind of hold a special place in your brain?
All the horror stories, Matt? I don't think we want to get into those.
Well, we don't have that much time.
I know.
Share one or two with us.
Okay. Well, one time I had a building that the people kept complaining about roaches. So we kept sending in the exterminator for different sides of the building, et cetera, but it would seem like it would chase them from one side to the other. So finally we said, okay, we're going to do an inspection on the whole building. So we gave everybody notices. We went in to do the inspections one by one. So we knock on the door of this apartment, and this woman answers the door, invites us in, and as soon as we come in, the walls are almost black. The roaches start dropping on us. And needless to say, that was one of those things that led to an eviction and led to us calling Child Protective Services because there were small children living in that home.
Sounds like you should get hazard pay for something
hazard pay for that. Oh, yeah. I've said that for years. Property managers need hazard pay for sure.
Well, when you walk into a situation like that, it's almost hard to believe.
It is.
That can exist.
What?
And you see a lot of things in property management that you may not see in other businesses that you might get into. And I'm sure at the time, it probably wasn't very funny, was it?
No.
It's one of those circumstances where time plus crisis equals humor.
Mm-hmm. So. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was very difficult. But, I mean, we have these stories, we have these needs for eviction, but we also have good, positive stories too. People who are good neighbors, who pay their rent on time, who, help and want to give back to the community, want to participate in the events that we have. And those are the types of residents that we love. We love
Sure.
those stories that are success stories and that people are really, truly happy living in our communities.
And with that, obviously, there have been community activities. You're involved with Big Hearts, Little Hands,
Right.
things of that nature. Explain to us a little bit, Big Hearts, Little Hands.
Well, Big Hearts for Little Hands started about 16, 17 years ago. And Pam Shelton was one of the prime board members who wanted to see us reach out into the community and do something great. So we really became involved with a organization called UMOM. And UMOM is a homeless shelter for families because UMOM believes that no child should ever have to live in their car under a bridge. And so we started raising money, and we've raised thousands and thousands of dollars over the last, I would say, 16 years. For Big Hearts for Little Hands is the AMA community outreach program.
It's kind of their program.
Yeah, it's the community
Sure.
outreach program.
And I assume there's been a lot of people involved in this in the multi-housing industry.
A lot of people. We go all the way to the communities, to the regional managers, to out into the residents. We try to get everybody involved in this because this is a real serious issue in Arizona.
And these are some of the things the public obviously doesn't ordinarily see.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of involvement in the multi-housing industry for the fundraising and to assist in these areas, which there's never enough help that can be given.
No, never.
And so, we give our kudos to not only you, but all those in the multi-housing industry that have contributed to this and give their time and their effort. And they work a lot in raising these funds for a good cause.
Yep.
So we're happy about that. We're excited that you have some new things happening in your life. We're sorry that we're going to be seeing you move. Tell us where you're moving.
I'm moving to a small town. There's 9,000 people that live there. It's called Breckenridge, Texas. And we have a large double lot right on the lake. So I look out my backyard and there's the lake. And it's full right now. It's at 104%. So
Wow.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And my husband's family actually lived there for 40 years.
Nice.
And so we have a new home that we've put on the property, and now we're getting the property ready, to live, and that's going to be our retirement home.
Well, you're going to get a well-deserved break.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, it's been my honor to know you through the years, to work with you very closely. A lot of people have been blessed by your efforts, and we appreciate that. We wanted to give you a warm send-off and wish you the best as time goes on. You've got a cell phone. You know where we live.
Yeah.
So come on back and see us.
Well, I will. I'm going to be FaceTiming you, Matt, because I always need, here's the thing I say about attorneys. You got to have one in your back pocket. And you know what, Matt? You have been a great attorney who's always been responsive. And even though I haven't been in property management now for about 6 years, you've always been responsive to me. And same with your partner, Mark Zinman, and Scott. These guys you guys are the best.
Well, thanks. I'm honored to work with them. I enjoy being with them. They're my friends and very competent people. I've enjoyed working with you and the competency that you've offered and the advice that you've given through the years. I want to tell you thank you so much for our years of association.
And we
wish
Matt.
you the best.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Good luck, Debra.